Buckle up, America. Donald Trump just dropped a bombshell. Detroit has turned into a ghost town overnight. And the heart of the Rust Belt is shaking. With a single move, Trump imposed a 50% tariff on steel imports. Factories went silent. Workers lost jobs. And Canada? They're laughing all the way to the bank. This isn't just policy, it's upheaval. Global trade rules are being rewritten in real time. Midnight over Lake Erie. Tugboat sirens wail through the fog like ghosts of a bygone era. At 12:01 a.m., it begins. 8 words from the White House hit like a hammer. Section 232 activated. 50% tariff on steel. Wall Street melts down. Algorithms panic. Steel stocks rocket while Ford and GM nosedive. Traders stare at screens, watching the point of no return unfold. Financial media lights up, steel skyrockets, auto industry collapses. Across the Ambassador Bridge, Mexican engineer Luis Gutierrez watches in disbelief. Steel-laden trains disappear off the map. A border cracked open like a fault line. By dawn, Canada responds. No tantrum. No threats. Just a cold, surgical move. Ottawa slams the door shut. And the U.S. heartland starts to bleed. In Dearborn, Michigan's governor stands in a half-empty factory. Unfinished F-150s surround him. His promises drowned out by silence. Workers clutch mortgage bills and look for second jobs. 700 miles north, Hamilton's steel mills roar to life. Furnaces glow like dragons. Bars open early. Workers celebrate with empanadas and pay stubs. The contrast is brutal. Detroit rusts. Canada hums. The White House calls it a win for sovereignty. But the spreadsheets say otherwise. Each ton of blocked steel halts 2 assembly lines. Robots stand frozen. Woodward Avenue looks like a scene from a dystopian film. Pickups sit without frames. Signs read, "Suspended, no structural steel." Social media erupts. Hashtags like #PatriotSteel and #Made in America trend. But fear is in the air. J.P. Morgan issues a warning. Truck costs will rise 17% in weeks. Markets tremble. At a Lidzone Cafe Jalisco, immigrant workers stare at cracked phone screens. Their American dream folds like wet origami. University of Michigan economists are blunt. It's like pouring molten steel, then cutting power midstream. Pipes burst. Furnaces crack. Factories become useless ruins. Layoffs spread like digital shrapnel. And one question echoes. Did Trump's tariff save America? Or doom it? Hold your breath. Because Canada just made its move. On July 12, a 200-page, green policy update, drops in Ottawa. It looks boring. But it's not. It's a masterclass in economic warfare. Mark Carney stands before Parliament, calm and precise. He unveils Canada's new steel strategy. A resilient supply chain, powered by hydronuclear grids. Carbon tracked to the last scrap. No tariffs. No bluster. Just steel, clean and competitive. In Lansing, Michigan, Governor Whitmer studies a trade flowchart. It's full of dotted lines and footnotes. Ford's lawyers admit it. Ontario suppliers now need green certificates. They'll take months and millions to get. And Ford's got only 13 days of parts left. In Sault Ste. Marie, Canadian mills erupt in frenzy. Horn blasts signal extra shifts. Lunchboxes packed. Furnaces roar. A welder smiles, feels like my dad's shifts in the 70s. In Michigan, plants sit dark. Weeds sprout in parking lots. A lone guard smokes in silence. Alberta locks U.S. firms out of pipeline contracts. Houston's energy dreams vanish into smoke. Canada rewrites infrastructure rules. Bridge bids now require Quebec's clean steel. Chicago's planners trace routes that end at the border. In Windsor, the Alvarez family celebrates second shifts with ice cream. In Dearborn, Brianna Collins folds her uniform at home. A layoff email was her goodbye. Capitol Hill erupts. Congressmen throw metaphors like grenades. One demands a metal wall. Another calls the tariff a dynamited bridge. Lobbyists in gray suits scramble through chaos. But it's too late. The numbers are grim. The rules? Already signed by both sides, now used against the U.S. An ex-ambassador mutters, "They beat us with our own rules." Detroit flickers in the dark. A Battle Creek trucker listens to CBC. Canada's steel exports to Europe just spiked 14% in 10 days. Mills that once fed the U.S. now serve the EU. Online, people scream betrayal. And whisper a chilling truth. Is Canada carving out America's industrial heart? The Rust Belt is crumbling. And the fallout is everywhere. In Detroit, cars idle outside unemployment offices. Pink slips feel like nightmare tickets. Michigan's unemployment jumps from 4% to 5.4% in 1 month. The worst spike since 2009. In Indiana, workshops go silent. Presses stop cold. One factory hangs a sign. Seeking contracts. 20 years experience. Payroll freezes. Hope turns to ash. In Ohio, furnaces go quiet. The hiss fades like a dying breath. Workers whisper of 1982, like it's a ghost. Pittsburgh families do math. Groceries, gas, braces, or mortgage. Steel falls, and everything suddenly weighs more. Canada's pipelines gleam. But coatings meant for U.S. firms are cancelled. Midwest refineries lose contracts. In Monterey, engineer Liang Chen pulls $120 million from U.S. plants. He redirects it to Hamilton's green mills. Investment leaves America. It flows where energy is clean and policy stable. Toronto celebrates. While U.S. projects stall. In St. Louis, a bridge sits unfinished. Steel prices spike 29%. Phoenix's tram project halts. Beams rot in the sun. Washington turns on itself. Lobbyists beg for subsidies. Protectionists cry, foreign treason. Budget offices panic. A bailout would dwarf the 1956 Highway Act. Ford's VP goes live. They're burning $16 million a day without metal. A Missouri senator blames China. But China's banned U.S. steel since 2020. A congresswoman suggests lifting the tariff. She's shouted down. Capitol Hill is exhausted. No villains. Just chaos. Tariff mills cheer. Laid-off workers cry. Consumers scream. A Minneapolis host calls it a war with no enemy. Students map supply chains. Montreal's ports now matter more than Houston. A Somali refugee's son observes, steel follows clean energy, not borders. His professor agrees. Geography rewards adaptability. In Flint, a school play about cars risks becoming a funeral march. In Gary, fishermen watch the sky fade orange. Their wives' paychecks fade too. Meanwhile, Canada rises. Hamilton's furnaces blaze. $40 billion floods into green steel. Hydroelectric power roars from Quebec. Ontario's nuclear hums. A Filipino welder monitors hydrogen furnaces from a tablet. Each bar stamped with a carbon passport. In Brussels, EU negotiators seal a deal. Canada becomes their first extra-continental green steel partner. Rotterdam books ships for February. Turbine factories rewrite budgets. They want Canada's steel. And America? Detroit hears it on a wire. Their steel's been replaced by Ontario's clean alloy. A U.S. steel veteran shuts off the radio. His granddaughter shows him graphs. Green steel is stable. Coal-based steel yo-yos. Canada's scrap is recycled. Their sensors sort metals. Trains deliver alloys to roaring furnaces. Cranes run on clean power. Steel turns to bridges and benches. Canals don't matter. Canada's supply chain doesn't choke. Europe celebrates. America watches. A Port Colborne Union vet smiles. His granddaughter eyes cop summit jobs. The lesson is brutal. America has the mines. But Canada has the energy. And the vision. The U.S. is tangled in red tape. Swinging at its own reflection. Capitol Hill aides sip burnt coffee. One a NAFTA vet. Another, an OMC lawyer. They admit it quietly. Canada didn't cheat. They just outplayed us. It's not legal. It's thermodynamic. No clean energy, no green steel. U.S. shipyards sit idle. Boats bypass them. Toronto Star headlines. Canada secures clean steel future. Michigan headlines? Layoffs. This isn't just trade drama. It's a tectonic shift. Canada builds an empire. The U.S. watches from the sidelines. The White House spins it. Sovereignty. American jobs. But the numbers say chaos. 17% price hikes. 5.4% unemployment. Ford losing $16 million a day. Canada's lights blaze. America's flicker. Is this the end of U.S. industrial dominance? Or a wake-up call? Can America rise from the ashes? Or has Canada stolen the crown for good? Drop your thoughts below.